Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slava Heroyam podcast. I'm your host, Travis Hightower. It is the 8th of February. That is Super Bowl Sunday, the year of our Lord, 2026. And today we're going to talk about what went down at Ukraine Week in Washington, D.C. We don't have a single hero this year, but we'll talk a little bit about the Olympics and what the Ukrainian team expects from the Olympics. And we'll talk, of course, about the heroes that, in innocence, that we've lost this week to the constant Russian terror attacks across Ukraine, to include the human safari. If you don't know what the human safari is, follow the QR code up in this corner, and you will be taken to a documentary and also information on what you can do to help. Which reminds me, finally, we will cover our humanitarian organization of the week in favor of Ukraine, which will give you other options to help and add to your tax donation totals, tax deductible donation totals. All right, so I'd like to start off, as you know, on this show, we usually focus on we tend to focus not on the geopolitics, but on the individuals affected by the Ukraine war, and especially those who have accomplished legendary and heroic deeds. There are many, many heroes coming from the conflict. Some heroes are just reacting to the situation, and that includes Tatiana Glazkova. Tatiana was nearby when a bus full of miners was struck by a drone, and she rushed to help, and not realizing that the Russians watch these situations with their FPV drones, and they will strike second and third times, trying to strike just anyone who, especially medics, but anyone who comes and tries to help. And she was on instinct, ran over to see what she could do when this bus was struck, and got hit by the follow-up drones. And that happens a lot. You know, that they struck in follow-up waves when they destroyed that train last week. If you don't, I'm not going to hunt and share pictures of everything, but some of the civilian targets that we don't even know all the names of all the casualties on the train that was struck deliberately, and mothers were passing their children down to rescue workers from the train. Same thing here. Buses have been targeted. It is an ongoing daily campaign with the human safari. Also a victim of the human safari is this woman. Also a victim of the human safari is Galina. We only know her first name. She died yesterday as a result of shelling in Nikopol on January 16th. She's 65 years old, and she fought for more than 24 hours to live, but in the end, they could not save her. Now, this is a victim of the true human safari, a woman attacked by drones, just trying to go about her day-to-day life. Today, we remember Elena Vovk. She's a nurse, 51 years old. She was in the situation where FPV drone went after her car. And very similar to some human safari situations, you have drivers that are trying to drive these folks around to their different locations in Kherson. And the drivers know how to drive fast. They know how to avoid the drones, but sometimes they still get caught in this terrible, because the sky is mined. And the sky is mined. And the only way that we're going to stop this is to push. In particular, Kherson is a target because it's a major capital city. The Russians need to be pushed back out of drone range from Kherson. That's the thing that will stop it. To do that, first step is closing the sky. And I am an advocate every episode of closing the sky. And if you want the sky closed, when you call your congressional leaders, don't just call and tell them, that you want them to support donations to Ukraine. The pressure needs to be on the administration and Ukraine to close the sky. Do not be afraid. Originally, the Biden administration could have done it too. They were afraid of nuclear weapons. Closing the sky only requires certain corridors that would shoot down drones especially shooting down drones and closing the sky means tracing those drones back to their launch point of origin and destroying those launch sites. It is an aggressive thing that Russia may or may not. It's an aggressive thing, but if you can say that you're only striking the drone launchers, because they do have launchers, these things that they need to go on. If you're destroying their launchers and claiming as few lives as possible while you're doing it, you can potentially say, you guys are attacking civilian targets. We have the right to do this. If you want to declare war on us because of this, fine, so be it. But more than likely, they're going to back down if you show any level of toughness, because Putin cannot afford to give up on this war, and he will have to give it up if he declares war on NATO. So understand that. Declaring war on NATO means Russia loses. Using nuclear weapons means we all lose, including Putin, who wants to live forever. That was a big side tangent, but I don't talk enough about how to end the human safari, and that's what the pressure needs to be. Now that we're spreading awareness of it, we need awareness of what to do about it. And going into the Olympics, 2 Olympians that will never be able to participate this year. Cross-country skier was in the Youth Olympics, Yevhen Milashev. He, instead of continuing with his Olympic dream, and I don't know if any of the current Ukrainian Olympians, I saw 5 of them when they marched in, were soldiers, but he joined up to be a soldier and was killed in action. So he's not one of the terrorists. I mean, the whole war is a terrorist action, but you could conceivably say, he is not a war crime death. But the youth of Ukraine are being taken away from them, and that includes their Olympians like Yevhen and like Daria. Daria, who is really a Summer Olympic person. There are several Summer Olympic persons that are of notoriety that we've lost, but Daria was lost recently when her training area was struck by a drone. Her and her trainer were killed. So that she will not be at the next Summer Olympics in her floor dancing routine because of that. So let's hear now from an Olympian, the flag bearer. CNN did an interview with the flag bearer of the Ukrainian team after the opening ceremonies.
I tried to pay some attention to Ukraine. And definitely we need this attention, and we need it now. We need it all these 4 years, because definitely Ukraine cannot win this war alone.
Can you put into words what the last 4 years have been like for people in Ukraine?
For me, it's really scary that people get used to the war, and people get used to have rockets above their heads. People get used to the shellings of their homes or of their friends. People get used to go to the funerals every week, and it's really terrible. We need support from other countries, and we need people understand scale of war, because it's really, really huge scale of war and huge scale of victims.
You have been given the incredible honor of carrying the Ukrainian flag at the opening ceremony in Cortina. What does that mean to you?
It's a great honor, and especially a great honor in these difficult times, because of course this time it's much more important than any Winter Olympics before. It's very important symbol when Ukrainian flag is in the international stage, and we're able to be there among all the nations, to show that we are still among the best nations in the world, to bring some support and to spread the truth what's going on in Ukraine.
All right. All right. So we heard from, so that was Vladislav Heraskevich. I always murder these names, and one of these days I'm going to get better at it. Vladislav was a flag bearer in the opening ceremonies. Real quick, see if I can find there's a video of the opening ceremonies in the Ukrainian team. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I will edit it in after this. Let's see. So here is a video of the opening ceremonies. You'll see 5 or 6 Ukrainians marching in there. He said it was the most important Winter Olympics ever. And just to carry their flag, to show that they're still a nation. When you think of these places, sometimes I talk to people that think, once again, that Ukraine is like a third world nation, and not, on the level of, what is third world anymore? Maybe some countries in Africa, not even really Afghanistan or Iraq. You're talking, people are used to countries with a lot of desert and what looks like unused or unusable land. Ukraine is a complete usable land. It's a very fertile land. That's why it's always been fought over for hundreds and hundreds of years throughout history. A Ukraine that is left alone for its people to flourish will become one of the great nations of the world. You just have to get it to stop being whittled away by war and conflict and dictators starving them out or holding their boot over their country. So obviously the Olympics are very symbolic for Ukraine, and it comes on the heels of Ukraine Week, and that's going to be our final topic today. I was hoping to get some interview clips and things of that nature for this show, but we did get to see one video, and I'm going to react to it with you now. Let me share it. Okay, this is a 7-minute video. So I will whittle this down to some key moments, but we'll give you my thoughts. You'll see that it starts out very promising and then turns into something locally political. And I want you to notice how when you watch this, notice how the audience reacts to certain things. And notice their delayed reaction, as if they realize they're supposed to react in certain ways, because this is how Republicans react, etc.
Right now, Bishop, they are in the freezing cold in Kyiv. Right now, they're in the freezing cold in Bucha. Right now, power outages are going out. Right now, President Zelensky would have been here, but he can't leave the people that are happening right now in Kyiv. I said, sir, you stay where you are. You be the inspiration where you are, because right now, what's more important is that your people never lose hope. And I'm telling you right now, the people of Ukraine are not losing hope. That's right. No, they're not.
They're saying all the right things here. Ukraine will never use hope. I say it all the time myself. People are freezing because Russia is a terrorist state. That would have been a good thing to add.
We believe in the red, the white, and the blue. We believe we are the home of the brave, the land of the free.
See them kind of, oh yeah, we're patriotic. I'm supposed to clap for that. We believe in freedom, yes, but it has to go so far as to say we believe in the freedom of everyone, not just our freedom. It didn't go quite that far. It's implied, but if somebody wants to get mad at him for saying that.
He wants to stop China from buying Russian oil. I mean, from Venezuela to be selling Russian oil to Russia. The less we stop Russia from buying oil, the more we slow down their war machine. It's that simple. Yes. It frustrates me when I hear people, oh, Trump is just selling people out. Why in the world we just took?
He's implanting noble reasons. Here is where, when I wrote an article about Ukraine Week, this is kind of what I'm afraid of.
But we're trying to stop Russia from playing up there that's happening in Ukraine. That's right. Do you understand this? Yes. If we don't stop,
doesn't care. Or he could impose sanctions, completely blockade the Black Sea for Russian oil. He could. There's so many things. Switching out the leadership of Venezuela doesn't seize the oil. You know, I think he talks like, and even this guy talks like that you now control Venezuela by removing the drug lord leader and dictator. They just replaced him with another dictator of the same party, as vice president. You know, that's trying to come up with extra reasons that Trump's helping. He's not helping, and that's kind of their way that's their quid pro quo for this event to me. Yes, we want to help Ukraine, but we want Trump to get the credit for helping Ukraine.
Why we would not be selling. Why we would never.
And that's the problem with our society as Americans, is
why would we continue to remind you
to be able to give one leader all the credit or all the blame. When you do that, eventually you end up with someone who has too much power. And it could be a Democrat, could be a Republican. That pendulum swings back and forth. But the more and more you give power, and the more you revere just one person and want to give one person credit for something, the more it will turn into a show. More power can be taken from the people. The Ukrainians understand this. And I'm curious, we'll hear some of their thoughts on this when they get back.
We may speak a different language. We may have a different. All of us want, and it's word. Yes. I can be a Jew and I want freedom. I can be a Muslim and I want freedom. I can be black and I want freedom. I can be white and want freedom. I can be female and desire freedom. I can be from a
now I know they're supposed to react. Look at who. This is being filmed by the leader of the Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce, Tamara Alexandra.
China needs freedom. Iran needs freedom.
North Korea needs freedom. So
A lot of
Here's the
great things. I'm
thing.
gonna give a shout
The
out to Scott.
implication, because of the context of his speech, is that he'd have to just go declare war. Maybe that's why we called it the Department of War. Maybe he's going to go around freeing all these countries, which is, if you won't even fight for the freedom of Ukraine, how are you going to fight for North Korea, which is a very much more stagnant situation and volatile situation. And of the two dictators more likely to use nukes when they have them, I would say Kim Jong-il would be more likely to be that insane. So wanting the world to have freedom is exactly why I joined the military, because a free world makes America safer, makes us with an entirely free world. Everyone becomes our ally. You have free trade. You can begin to reduce our enormous military budget, which, I don't know if a lot of people would want. I think a lot of our political system right now thrives on our large military budget, but it's also necessary because of the way the world is. So the question is, do folks actually want to get to a point where a large dominant military is not necessary? Do we want to get the world to that point? I do. Every soldier who has ever fought wants to get the world to that point. That's why I wrote the whole article questioning the sincerity of a lot of the people going to Ukraine Week. So that was just one speech. That was one presentation. That was a highly political one. Now there's a lot of different good things that go on, like how to get humanitarian aid and how to deal with trauma for children. And my other associate, who will hopefully get us some information on how Ukraine Week went, spent most of the time with medical. His friends wanted to go. He couldn't go. I'm hoping to have him on soon. He has an open invitation. Ed, if you're watching, I'd love to have you on the show. But that's one more thing we've got to do, is talk about our humanitarian aid organization of the week. You recall, Blue Check is a hub for several Ukrainian charities. And so lately our charities of the week. All right, so let's take a look at Project Victory. Project Victory will be our we got to share this. All right. And our organization of the week, connected through Blue Check and verified. Blue Check being the central hub for many, many Ukrainian humanitarian aid organizations. Project Victory is a nonprofit run by veterans right here in the United States. They help children and families, especially orphan children, displaced children. They have a shelter in Lviv. They help with hospitals. They work directly with doctors, and they work with first responders. You can learn about some of their recent missions in on their website, which I have scrolling along the bottom of the screen. This is a very professional looking website. They have a lot of transparency. Their donation centers, as you'll see, have a bank account that isn't just a personal bank account. It has a tax ID number. So a really good place to donate. This is the type of thing where any small amount will help. Whoops. I have to share the new tab to show you their donation tab. It does use PayPal, but you'll see it's a tax ID account that your money is going to. That is often a good way to make sure that your donations are legit. With that, you can also have you can also use that for deductions on your taxes. So any organization that makes it easy for you to do that, to count up your donations and put it on your tax forms, since it is tax season, is going to be giving you that warm fuzzy that they are legit. So let's go back and share the tab for, again, that is Project Victory. They are run by a bunch of veterans in Idaho. I believe it said food, shelter, and medical supplies. That shelter in Lviv is a big deal because you got a lot of kids losing their parents, a lot of war orphans, and they need to be protected. And Lviv, being the most western city, is probably about as nowhere in Ukraine is safe, but it's one of those safer places. It's run by two U.S. Marines, a medical director. When you have a large team that you're able to put together, it should also give you a warm fuzzy. So Project Victory, easy to remember because everyone of this channel and the Slava Heroyam podcast wants victory more than any sort of capitulation. And that's our show for Super Bowl Sunday, 8 February 2026. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've found an avenue to help speak out for Ukraine. Again, call your congressman. Even 2 representatives in Congress standing up for Ukraine can put the whole government on notice right now. 2 Republican congressmen can become the most powerful political figures for Ukraine and so many other issues. And what they need to demand is not just aid for Ukraine, but closing the sky. So with that in mind, everybody get out there, do your best for Ukraine. Make sure you check out the Human Safari documentary, and we'll see you next time. Slava Ukraini and Heroyam Slava.